Welcome back guys to FM Scout. My name is Luke, my own channel is LS Plays FM, and it's my pleasure to be back today on FM Scout as a guest to bring to you a brand new video. Today we're going to be running through 5 ways in which you can use loans in FM21 to your benefit. We're looking at both bringing players into your team on loan, sending them out, and also just running through some really useful tips. Now before we do get going properly, if you do enjoy today's video guys, do make sure to drop a like down onto it, and if you're not already, make sure to get yourself subscribed to FM Scout's channel as well. And of course, if you want to come over and check out my own channel, use the link down in the description. I make various tactics videos, tutorials and let's plays for FM21, and if you want to come over and drop a sub, then again just use that link down below. But without any further ado guys, let's get straight into today's video. I'm going through 5 ways which you can use loans to your benefit in FM21. Here we are then now in Football Manager 21 itself, and the first tip I'm going to go through with you guys is about bringing in loans for clubs who have very low finances and who cannot afford to pay much either in transfer fees or wages, or both. In this example here, I'm playing as Peterborough United. I've just started up a brand new save in Football Manager and the transfer window is open. Here at Peterborough, we have a bit of money we can spend in terms of transfer budget, but very little in terms of actual wages. So what I'll do is I'll go into the scouting here, I'll go to our player search. You can see I've got a transfer budget of £400,000 and I have no available wage budget whatsoever. So basically I can afford to spend very, very little in terms of wages. I can't actually even change my budget on here. So of course transfers are basically going to be out the window because I'm not going to be able to afford players' wages, stuff like that. So instead of looking for players who are interested in transfers, I'm going to instead look for players who are interested in loans. So I'm going to tick the option in here. And another thing to be aware of is if you use this cog option on here, by default it will only show you players who are actually actively interested in joining your club. You can instead change that to being doubtful and you'll get a few other players available for you to see in your search pool. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, because of the fact I know I have very, very low wages that I can actually offer, I think we can offer a maximum of £1,000 a week. I'm instead only going to look for players who have £1,000 as their contract. So I'm going to go on to new search in here, I'm going to add a condition, I'm going to go to contract, going to go to general, go to wage on here, and I'm going to change it from 20,000, which is always default, change it to 1,000. So it's only going to show me players who have a contract of £1,000 a week or less. Now straight away there's some decent players who've come up here. One reason, by the way, I use the option on here to show players who are interested in loan rather than actually using the option to do loan listed is you do get a few other options suggested to you in game. For example, most of these players here are all listed. You can see they've got the loan icon against their name. If I go to Aaron McAnuff here, the Shamrock Rovers central midfielder here, and I go onto his name, I can actually go and offer him a loan deal. They want a small fee to be paid in the case of him, but despite not being listed for loan, we could possibly get him into our team. So it's always worth ticking that option and not just looking for players who are listed for loan, because you may get some better players suggested to you in your search. If I go, for example, with Tyreek Mitchell, he's a player who is listed. I'm going to go and make an offer for him. In the case of him, they want very little money, only £500 a week. That's really, really affordable for us here at Peterborough. If I suggest that and finalise it, easy peasy, it's in, and hopefully he will come and join the club. What you can also do as well is you don't just have to actually offer wages and stuff to players. If I up this slightly, you can see, for example, I've upped it to 1.2. There's a good player in the option here, Tiedemann Mengi. He's a very, very good defender at League 1 level, and he's only on £1,200 a week. But if I go onto here, I can't offer all of that money to them. I can only offer 50% of his wages. They want at least 60%. So what I could do is, rather than just offering them the actual wages up front, I can offer a small fee, and basically the difference, you can't see it behind my webcam, but I'm offering the money that they want. If I suggest that, they should accept it. Indeed they do. I can finalise that. What I'll then do is I'll just forward on, we'll wait till they hopefully join, and these 2 players will then be into the squad, and we'll have 2 very decent players available for our League 1 team. Here we are then now at the point where Mengi is the first to actually accept the loan. He is willing to join, so I'm going to go and accept his loan. If I proceed on a little bit further, hopefully Mitchell should be willing to do the same. And indeed, here he is, Tyreek Mitchell as well. They're both willing to join. They both come into the club, and that then right there and then brings in 2 very decent players for our League 1 club, both on very, very cheap deals. And honestly, I really do recommend, if you're playing lower league football, if you're playing with a team without much in the way of finances, focus on loans in terms of being short-term fixes where possible. It can really, really help to bulk out your squad and get some really top-level players into your lower league team. Much like in my own save I'm doing currently on my own channel with Kaiserslautern, we've got a lot of loan players in there in the 3rd and then 2nd Bundesliga. It really does help things out. So what we just covered then was basically tip 1. Now tip 2 is one which focuses more on getting players into your squad on loan, but with the option to buy them. This could be really useful if either A, you're a club who currently doesn't have that much money, and maybe you'll have money at the end of the season, so you want to put an option in to buy someone, loan them in initially and buy them at the end of your current season. Or if you want to bring a player into your team to kind of test them out, make sure they're up to the level that you think they are, and then again buy them at the end of the season. And it's a really easy thing to do. All you have to do is just put an option to buy, whether it be an option, a mandatory fee, something like that in the end of your loan contract. So for example, I'm here with my Norwich City team, my Twitch stream side, and I'm going to go in for Vinicius Jr. on loan. I know he's currently listed, and normally if a player is listed, it means that the club will also be willing to both let you buy them or possibly loan them with, again, that option to buy. Not always, but a lot of the time it does allow it. If I click on loan offer here, you can see with Vinicius Jr. they want me to pay 40% of his wages, which is very affordable here at Norwich, with I think 6 seasons in at this point in time, and they also want a optional fee of £39 million. It's worth noting as well, if you come into a loan screen on here and they do not have an option to buy already, you can go onto the ad screen on here and you can put in, say, mandatory future fee, optional future fee, or future fee after matches played. They'll all work in similar ways, but of course if you do a mandatory, it means you have to pay it. If you do an optional, it's then up to you. And if you do ones after certain games, or if you win certain competitions, things like that, then of course they only come into effect if you hit those expectations, basically. Now normally it's quite hard to negotiate this down at all. I'm going to offer maybe say 38 and see if I can get Madrid to say yes to that. They say no initially. If I keep offering it, they may accept if I do it again. Okay, they have accepted £38 million. It's still quite a bit, but at least what it allows me to do is it allows me to bring Junior into the squad, test him out, see if he's as good as I want him to be, and if he is, I can activate that at the end of the season. If he's not, I can just bin him off and let him go as well. So I'll finalise that, and we'll get to then the point where hopefully he should be willing to join the club. I'm now at the point where Junior has accepted the loan. He's been given his work permit and like that, so I can get him into the club, and there we go. He's now become a Norwich player on loan, but I then do have the option to make that permanent at the end of the season if I would like to have him into the team. But that is then step 2, done and dusted. Now the first 2 steps of using loans in FM21 have been covered. Now we've looked at mainly bringing players into the squad. Now we're going to look at 2 different ways about getting players out of your team and out on loan. The first we're going to focus on is with younger players and making sure they can get developed and get some game time and hopefully help with their growth. Now I'm here at my Norwich team once again. I've got a really decent regen in my team, Andrew McGregor. He's come for our youth squad and I want to get him some much needed game time out on loan. I'll come into his profile on here. I'm going to go on to transfer, offer him out to clubs. I'm going to offer him out on loan. So I'm not too fussed about his wages. I'll say, for example, I'd like 50% paid. That's fine. But what I want to focus on is his playing time and where he's going to play. Because, of course, if you're going to loan someone out, you want to make sure, number one, they're going to get played, because otherwise there's no point in them going out. And you want to make sure they're going to get played in the right position, not be played completely out of position and maybe not do very well. So first thing I'm going to do is the agreed playing time. I'm going to make him a regular starter. I want to make sure he's at least playing the vast majority of games. I'm going to lock that in as well. I'm then going to ask for him to be played in the midfield centre, because that's where I want him to be playing when he eventually comes back to the club. And I also want him to be playing as a ball-winning midfielder. That is the role I want him to do in my team. So I'm going to lock all of those in. I'm then going to offer him to clubs and also make sure he's placed onto the loan list. I'll offer him out. If I then continue, I've then straight away got a bid. That's really, really handy. We've had a bid from Sunderland, who I think are in the Championship in this save now, and they've offered to pay 30% of his wages, a little bit of a fee, which is fine. As I say, I'm not too fussed on the actual wages front, but they're willing to play him as a regular starter, as a midfielder, and a ball in midfield, which is what I really, really want. So I'm going to accept that, and hopefully he'll go out on loan. We'll go forward to the point where he goes out on loan, and I'll also show you another really important thing to focus on. It's worth noting as well, when you do send out youngsters on loan, always have a look at the club's facilities, because if you get multiple bids on one player who may be similar levels and be willing to play the player, you want to send him to one that has the best facilities, because at that club he will no doubt develop better, because he's going to have access to better facilities over there. So again, just stuff to focus on. But let's get forward to the point where he should hopefully be going out on loan. I'm now here at the point where McGregor has accepted to go out on loan to Sunderland, so I'm going to go and accept that. And the one thing that you should always do whenever you loan out young players you want to develop and so on is to do the option to compile match reports. What it does, it then means your scouts will keep an eye on the players, see how they're playing, see how they're developing, and keeping you up to date whenever they play matches, or whether or not the club isn't playing them as well, because of course that could be a big thing just to be aware of. You should hopefully see some match reports coming up on the screen for some players that I've got on loan out currently with my Norwich squad, and you can see kind of what they say and see how your player's doing and everything like that. But I say just something else to be aware of when you loan out young players. We're now here for step 4 of using loans to your benefit, and in this case we're going to be looking at loaning out players who are basically deadwood and you're unable to sell, but you want to try and get them off your wage bill or try and get them playing so other teams may become interested in them, say in the summer or the January transfer window. So I'm here with my Atlanta team. I've got a player on my side who is no longer playing. He was originally part of the first team. He's now on quite a bit of money and I want to get him out of the team. His name is Remo Freuler. If I say go and offer him out, let's say for £30 million, he's valued at 22, we'll transfer this and see if we get a bid. I'll offer him out to clubs. Is anyone going to be interested in him? Probably not. I've been trying to sell him for a little while in this save, but I expect no one will be willing to come in for him. If we go forward here a little bit and we'll see if we get any interest in him whatsoever, the likelihood is the answer is going to be no. And again, no one wants him. No one's wanting to pay his wages, that type of stuff. So I want to get him out of the club though. I want to get him off the wage bill. So let's see if I can loan him out and see if anyone comes in for him in this manner. I've had another bid. I'm just going to reject that, but let's carry on and see if anyone comes in for him, and we'll see if we do manage to get him out of the club, in this case on loan. The likelihood is, again, it may not be the case because we haven't had a bid straight away, which would suggest we're not going to get one. So I'm going to presume we're probably not going to, but we'll see. We'll keep going and keep going, because what you can do is you can keep on trying to offer players out either for their full wages or even for nothing and see if anyone does come in. So again, no one is interested in Freuler. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to offer him out for no wages whatsoever, just to see if we can get any club interested in him whatsoever. So I'm just going to keep going and keep going on. And finally, we got a bid from Valencia on loan. They're not going to pay any wages and only a squad player. So initially I'm going to reject this. I'm going to try and be a bit cheeky. I'm going to offer him out again now that Valencia have shown a bit of interest. Let's see if I can offer him out, but for all of his wages, and see if he will go. We'll offer him again. Will Valencia be interested once again? I'm hoping that they will do. Otherwise, it's not going to be ideal if we can't get him having his wages paid. Let's have a look. And okay, he has. Valencia have come back in and they're now going to pay all of his wages and have him as a squad player. I'm not fussed if he's going to be playing. I just want him off the wage bill. He's taking up a hefty chunk of the wage bill and I don't want him here at the team anymore. So I'm going to accept that. I'll proceed on and we'll come back very shortly. And hopefully he should be leaving the squad. Here we are, I've gone forward a couple of days in game and now Freuler has accepted the loan. He's willing to go out and Valencia are going to be paying all of his wages, which I am really happy with. So I'm going to accept that. I'm just going to compile match reports and now I can then proceed on, and he's no longer at the club. So it gets a bit of deadwood off the team, and of course that now free wage bill I can go and use to bring someone else in either on loan or on a permanent deal. So it's really handy for just getting players out who you're unable to sell. Now, the final way in which you can use loans to your benefit in FM21 is more of just a tip just to be aware of when you're both loaning players in and loaning players out. And that is in order to ensure you have a clause in your loan contracts to either recall players you loan out or to terminate loans of players you bring in. This can be really useful. Number one, if you're sending players out on loan, you can have the option to recall them. Basically, if they're not playing enough games or not playing well enough, you can then recall them and then hopefully get them back into the team and either loan them out to someone else or keep them at your squad. And if you loan someone in, say for example, you're worried they might be a bit injury prone, you could have the option to terminate them. And if they then have a lot of injury problems or they're not playing well enough, you just terminate it and write off that loan. For example, if I go to offer out one of my youngsters here, Marco Carneschi, for example, I can go and offer him to clubs, put a loan offer, and I can put an option in here. If I go on the add option, there's an option for can be recalled. If I put that in, lock it in, and when I offer it out, clubs have to offer that to me. And then also when you loan in a player, there's the option for loan cannot be terminated. You just remove that and then you can choose to terminate the loan. If I go and look at, for example, one of my players I've loaned out, say Ergachan Shakir, or Czechia, I can never pronounce his name properly. With him, I've loaned into Bayern Leverkusen. If I go on to transfer on here, there's an option for me to recall him from his loan. I think when you have the option to recall, you can only do it in transfer window, so something just to be aware of. And in the same, when you loan someone in, you click on their name, you go on the transfer option and you do terminate loan. With Thiago here, I didn't put the option in to terminate it, but if I had done, that option would be available to me. But again, there's something else for you to be aware of when you're making loans in FM21. But guys, that is the final of the 5 ways in which you can use loans to your benefit. And as a result, it brings this video here today to a close. I really do hope you can use these 5 ways which I've covered to help yourself in Football Manager 2021 and just help make things a little bit easier and just really give you some nice tips to use when you are doing loan business in game. Of course, if you did enjoy today's video, please do make sure to drop a like onto it, and if you're not already, get yourself subscribed to FMSCOUT. And of course, if you want to come over to my own channel, as I mentioned earlier on, use the link down below in the description. Come on over, drop a sub to the channel, and hopefully join me over there at some of my own FM21 content. But guys, thank you very much for watching today, and I will see you again next time.